See, I think all of that I just said. Okay, wait a second. Can you hear me now? Let's see. Let's see if y'all can hear me now. Let me know if y'all can hear me. I think that can you thank you. Thank you guys. Like I said, this is new. So there's growing pains here. There will probably be something else that I screw up before this is over. So bear with me. Yeah, like I was saying, if you were on my Instagram live, you probably saw my cute little animation of my reading sprint. If you're on my YouTube, you probably didn't catch any of that. And for the first minute, I was muted. So if anything, I think we just got all of the technical difficulties just out of the way early. Let's hope that that's how it stays. But what I was saying was basically like just thanking you guys for showing up. Right now, there are a few of y'all in the chat, which is really dope. I think I have like low expectations for these things where I'm just like, if I'm the only one reading, that's how all this was going to be anyway. And then when people actually show up, I'm just kind of like, wow, that's crazy. People actually support people. That's crazy. So thank you, like, again, to like anybody who is on the IG live and on the YouTube right now for showing up. Like, this is nerve-wracking, but I'm really excited to be reading with y'all today. Okay, first off, because I'm using this platform and everything, I want to know, what are you all reading today? What are y'all all going to be reading today? And as y'all put that in the chat, I'm going to tell y'all what I'll be reading today. I plan on two things. One, I'm going to finally finish Zone 1 by Colson Whitehead. I've been listening to it on audiobook, and it has been fine, but it hasn't been amazing. I'm going to be honest with you. I think the writing is what's throwing me off. It's really the writing. It starts off very wordy. Like Colson's using all of his $10 SAT words. I feel like in the beginning it's very lyrical. I guess the best way to describe it is like Toni Morrison when she's writing and everything, where it's like, let me go back and read like 2 pages back to make sure we're still in the same spot. So that's kind of where I've been at, but it has been getting better as I've kept on reading. So I don't know. It's feeling like 3 territory right now, and I'm kind of at that point where I'm like, let me put it on 2 times speed to kind of get to the meat of the matter on what happens in this book, because I'm more than halfway through, and I'm still like, is this literally just him experiencing this virus apocalypse? So yeah, I'll be reading that, but I think I'm going to read that maybe midway through. To start off though, I think I'm going, because I'm really just so excited for this. It's my first arc ever. I'm so excited for this. I'm so excited that it's my first arc is this one, and it's the Black Girl Survives in this one. This is coming out in April. April 2024. It's I think it's April 2nd or something along those lines. I'm pretty sure, but I know that it's April because it's written on the spine there. I'm super excited to read this, and it's an anthology, so I think I'm just gonna like work through it story by story and see where it goes from there. And see if like if you know, I think reading in 30-minute increments with like 5-minute breaks, I think an anthology would be perfect for that, because I'm not going to get too far into a book and then be like, oh, I got to take a break or something. I feel like I can maybe like knock out a couple of stories, 30-minute increments. And the third book that I'll be reading, which will be a short story. So the idea is that I'll probably read a couple of stories out of the anthology. I want to finish this because it's literally a short story novella, and then maybe end it with the Colson Whitehead. I don't know. I'm fitting it in there because I got to finish it. Also, happy Monster Week, everybody. All of these books are in my monster genre. I was very loose with that. Let's see what you guys are reading, because y'all are in the chat, which is amazing. Let's see. Thank you, Jess. I appreciate it. I'm like, you should see what it looks like behind this camera though. There's like stools and zip ties have been made in order for this ring light to attach. It's a whole situation, but here it's looking fine for me. Let's see. Thank you, Robin. Delicious Monsters. I heard that's really good. I heard it's really, really good. It's actually going to be one of the books that I recommend to others this upcoming week. So I guess like that's a little bit of a sneak peek. Not me having sneak peeks on a live. But yeah, I heard that's really, really good. I would love to hear after like we do the first sprint and everything, Robin. I'd love to hear like how it's going for you. I saw your post on Instagram, and it seems like you've been really hitting it out of the park with like what you have right now. As far as like any books that you've been reading, like you've been 5-star, 5-star, 5-star. So that's dope. Let's see what else. Sappho's Vampire. I'm going to start the Guild of Stories, needing some vamps in my life so badly. Okay, let me know how you feel about Guild of Stories. I want to read it, but I want to read it for June for Pride Month, because if you're not familiar with Guild of Stories, I did mention it during Vampire Week as one of my recs, but it's a sapphic story about a vampire basically trying to find her found family over a course of 200 years. Aren't we all? So I think that that's going to be a really good one. Love to hear like how that's going for you after the first or second sprint. Bookish plants and things. Hoping to finish Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and then get back to horror. Took a break from reading YA thrillers. Okay, Get a Life, Chloe Brown. Which one did I read? Oh, where are my books? Okay, I haven't read Get a Life, Chloe Brown, but I did read Take a Hint, Dani Brown. And I'm not a big romance reader, to be honest. This is the romance shelf. This is the thriller and horror shelf. We know which one I am, okay? But Take a Hint, Dani Brown was so relatable. It wasn't cheesy romance. I have a problem with cheesy romance, and it was spicy, but not overtly so. I don't know if that made sense to anybody out there, but it was just like the perfect romance for me. I want to read the other two as well, of the other like Brown sisters, but it was just a perfect amount of like romance and spice. Also, the main character was fine. I like a thickum, and I love that he was a bit of a bigger boy. I love that. That was nice. That was really nice to read about. Let's see here. Currently reading The Fellowship of the Ring, Edgar. Okay, well, I look forward to that. If anybody doesn't know, and he's probably going to be like, why would you do that? Why would you call me out? Edgar's my partner, so thank you for supporting me. We love loves who support their partner. He is currently reading The Fellowship of the Ring, which is behind me, but he's listening to it on audiobook. And I'm excited that he's starting to read and everything. We just finished watching all of the Lord of the Rings like extended versions, and I never really watched them, and I'm gonna be honest, it was actually really good to watch. I was impressed, so excited. Jess is going to be reading Cozy Bread by Helen Oyemi. I'm excited to hear what that's about, because I hear everybody's always talking about White is for Witching, and she has another one that I feel like a lot of people are constantly talking about, and I'm really excited to hear like what you think of that one as well. So yeah, let me know about like how that one goes. I haven't heard of Gingerbread, so that's a new one for me, for Helen Oyemi. This will be our first reading sprint too. Thank you, a fellow Kelsey. And excited. I'm going to read Ring Shout. I love Ring Shout. I'm so excited that I'm getting to experience you reading Ring Shout on this live. It was probably one of my top novellas for last year. I just felt like it combined. Sometimes I get a little sick of like Black horror being historical fiction sometimes. Like, it's a whole situation. And next week, when I record in the right version of my recording and everything, I'll talk more about it. But I felt like Ring Shout combined historical fiction and science fiction and horror really perfectly. I think my biggest thing was just I wanted a longer book. It was that good for me. And I feel like at the end, it kind of tied up loose ends really quickly in order to make sure it was a novella. So I'm excited to hear what you think of it, but I'm also excited that like I get to experience you experiencing it for the first time on this live. What else? Dee Dee is finishing up Monsters by Emerald Fennel. I've not heard of Monsters. I'm gonna have to look that one up. Maybe put in the chat like what the plot is for that one. I'm interested, especially during Monster Week. Herbivore Haunts. I'll be reading The Witchery by Isabel and Midnight on Beacon Street by Emily Ruth Verona. Oh, I heard that The Witchery is really good. I actually had that one as one of my recommendations last week. If you are a fan of Rochelle from The Craft, but you wanted all of the girls to be black girls, black witches. So I'm excited to hear like how that one's gonna read for you. Scotty Sheree reads. I'm going to start The Reformatory. Let me know how that is. I read my first Tananarive due recently, and it was My Soul to Keep. I love the world she built, but I was not a fan of the characters. DeWitt and Jessica drove me insane. Everything was avoidable at the end if DeWitt didn't have this huge ego. And Jessica, for me, just personally was so codependent. It was just like red flag after red flag, and she just was like, red's my favorite color. Like and I think I was so upset because I really loved what Tananarive built as far as a world of like becoming immortal. So I'm excited to hear what you think of The Reformatory because I know everybody's fallen in love with that book. I just really wanted to read one of Tananarive's like older works before I got into all of the hype around The Reformatory. Ashley's going to finish White is for Witching. Oh, okay, we have another Helen Oyemi. Oh my god, I'm butchering that. Wow, on live, I can't edit it. How is that going for you? I actually like. I think that the title is a little bit misleading because you think that it's a witch book. Turns out that it's actually like a haunted house book. It sounds like so. Maybe like tell us in the chat if which one it really is. Meg is going to be reading 50 Beasts to Break Your Heart. Ooh, short stories and Women Talking by Miriam. I'm going to save some of these and like add them to my TBR, but like let us know how that's going for you. Hey, Roxanne from Bybun. Reading Sprints. I'll be reading Legendborn. How is that? I heard that it's kind of like Ninth House. Is it? If it is, I'm even more excited about it because I feel like Ninth House really got me into my urban fantasy like bag now. Like I'm just for anything that they're like, it's like Ninth House, you know? Yes, that's what I've heard. Now I don't know if like The Witchery is going to be like that, but that's definitely what I've heard. Just finishing up work and joining now. Thank you for coming. I hope this is a little bit of a respite from work. That I might finish out my monster week. Just finishing up work. I'm so excited to have you here for the first reading sprint. Reading a backlist author first. I'm reading it for the Book Troop Book Club. Oh, fun! So if you don't know what the Book Troop Book Club is, that one I believe is oh gosh, why am I blanking out on her name now? He's a huge booktuber. Scotty, help me! Scotty, please help me out. Who's the Book Troop? The Book Troop is what's her name? That's gonna drive me crazy. Somebody who has access to a Google right now, let me know. Okay. I think that is pretty much who does the Book Troop Club? That's gonna bother me. Where's my phone? Book Troop. I follow her. I like follow her religiously. Book Troop. Thank you, Gabby Reeds. It's Gabby Reeds. Thank you, guys. I don't know where my brain went. I think it's stage fright just happened right there in real time. That is about, I think that we're about 20 minutes in. Been chit-chatting it up. And I think that we're probably going to okay. Before we get into it, I kind of wanted to talk just 2 seconds because I just don't want this to go to waste. What y'all were supposed to get yesterday was a video of me reading aloud the Get Out screenplay while watching Get Out. So you would have gotten director's notes and deleted scenes and everything. And you know what? Matter of fact, it's going to happen again one day. I refuse because it was such a great experience to do it. And I just kind of wanted to talk about it for two literal seconds, that it was just so great to like watch it after all these years and then read and like read what it originally was and what Jordan Peele's original thoughts for it were going to be before he ever knew what it was going to like end up being. And it was really great. We'll try it again another day when I can figure out. I don't even know if anybody knows why that S&Q feature is on a camera. Please let me know. So maybe I can use it properly instead of accidentally hitting the button every time I seem to want to do a long form video. It's always in the long form videos. So anyways, just a little, now that we have a good amount of people in here, talking a little bit about what we're going to do today. We're going to do some reading sprints. We're going to do the pomodoro reading sprint. So basically it's going to be 30 minutes of reading. I've got some thunderstorm and crackling fireplace to set the mood and everything, which if you're living in the LA area, it must be perfect that I chose this day because it's raining outside again. And then we'll take a 5-minute break and then do another 30-minute and everything. And then after about 4 of those, we'll take a little bit of a longer break for a bit of an intermission and everything. The plan is to do this for 3 hours today. I'm excited to be reading for that long. Hope you are too. Let's get into it. I'm super excited. Okay, let me pull everything up. I think I'm going to start off with this. I'm too excited to like start reading this. So let's start there. We're going to be reading that. We are also going to as I share my screen. I bet like this gets a lot easier with practice. I'm going to be honest with you. Boom. Hello. Yes, and they had this cute little heart situation, so I'm really excited to be having that. Then we're going to mute me in a minute. Let's play some thunderstorms. Okay. First sprint is done. And I'm sitting here I literally have 1 page left of this story, but this is a great start. The foreword is by Tananarive Due, so that's dope that they got her to do the foreword. And the first story is called Harvesters by L.L. McKinney, who is one of the editors for the book, I believe. Oh, no, she isn't, but she's one of the writers. Yeah, first thoughts on this. I haven't read the ending yet, so I don't know what the big twist is just yet, but I like the first story was definitely more of a YA horror thriller type of thing. And one thing I think I've noticed from like reading some YA recently is the fact that like some people who write YA don't know how like high schoolers actually talk. Like they either sound too young or they sound like millennials. And I think that like this one captured it well, that in-between space, as well as was queer without forcing it. And everything. I thought that like that was really interesting. I think it was really good writing. I have like literally 1 page left in that first story. I was really trying to get to it before we like went into our break, but I'm close. We'll see. I'll probably talk in my next break about how the ending was. I may just end up reading this the entire time, to be honest, and like come back to zone 1 at a later time and like read this to like end it all off. But great start. How are you guys doing in the chat? Hello, Jalissa. Thank you for joining. And thank you for subscribing, Shayna. Out There Screaming. Let me know how that is. I did pick up Out There Screaming, and I almost bought it. And I read the first story was kind of off-putting for me, and it had to do with this white police cop who was definitely racist and had like this power of pulling over people. And I don't know, I wasn't ready for that. But I've also heard that story isn't really like a lot of the other stories that are in there, and it really wasn't a great way to start it. So I don't know. I'm still gonna pick it up at some point. But let me know how you think after you get some housework done. I understand sometimes body doubling is necessary in order to get work done. Care Work by Leah Lakishmi. Oh, that sounds interesting. I'm really gonna have to look at some of the books you guys are reading and like add some to my TBR. I'm excited. Let's see here. What else? Reading All the Sinners Bleed. I have to still read All the Sinners Bleed. I know everyone in the world has read that book, and I still have not gotten around to it. I'm reading La Pince Blanche, White Thought Intellect by Lillian Thuram. I'm still in the intro, though. That's new. I've not heard about that one. Oh, it's good to hear that All the Sinners Bleed really good. I know I have to get to it. I have to really get to it. It's been good so far. Nothing scary yet, but I like the writing. Well, it's good that they're like setting the scene and everything. Hopefully they don't set the scene for too long. I'm somebody who has a short attention span. I want to get to the creepy stuff pretty early. Amazing forward as well in Gilda. Oh, dope. So far, the first chapter is intense, descriptive, and I can picture the setting in my head. I can't help but want some biscuits, but I'm hungry. We'll take a longer break soon. So I got 2 chapters read during this first sprint. Next sprint, I'm going to do some filming. Dope, Jess. I'm glad that I could be body doubling with you today. And 2 chapters. Oh my God, I feel like such a slow reader. I read the first chapter of Ring Shot this morning. It was amazing. Just finished the 2nd chapter in the sprint, and I'm still just I love the narrator. Okay, guys, let's get back into our next sprint. Okay. Second one is a sci-fi. So, okay, got to the end of the last one, the Harvester short story. Interesting ending. Kind of like makes me want to go, okay, and then what happened then? So that's great writing. The second one's a sci-fi kind of horror, which I love sci-fi horror and claustrophobic spaces. So this definitely, if you're into that, the second story called Welcome Back to the Cosmos. And this one's by Courtney Nash. I like that one. I think the writing didn't feel as much like a short story, though. I feel like that author knows how to write a longer novel, and in some parts kind of felt like it just kind of dropped you off. Instead of it feeling more like how the first one felt, I loved it. I think that I would have wanted it as like a longer novel, to be honest with you. So I don't know if it works as a short story because it makes me just want it to be a longer story. Maybe it does. So yeah, but I like the idea of it. I don't want to give too much for both of them. The first one has to do with a cornfield that no one knows like why it's there. They never see anybody go into it or come out of it. Yeah, that's all. The second short story is also has queer representation. So that's really great. I don't know if all of these are going to have queer representation, but the first two stories already had queer representation. And I haven't even gotten to Vincent Dorado's short story, who usually writes queer rep novels and short stories and everything. So that's great. I'm already 2 stories in, and I'm hooked. I don't know. I think I may just read this, and then in the last sprint or so, I'll read The Dead Eat Cheese, just because this is about 80 pages. So I think maybe 2 sprints, and I'll be able to knock this out, maybe? I don't know. I will say that like the timer is giving me anxiety because I'm like, I'll be looking, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like 2 minutes. We gotta finish this in 2 minutes so I can talk about it. But it's been really good. Let me see how you guys are doing. Let's see here. Got 2 chapters into The Witchery. I like it so far. I love the magical school aspect, and the magic system seems cool. Dope. Care work is, so going back to Jalissa's book that she's reading, or they're reading, Care work is about disability justice. Oh, dope. I'm gonna have to check these out. Just starting. Love Razor Blade Tears. This was an all-time fave. That was an all-time fave. Sappho's Vampire. It's giving being rescued by 2 older lesbian moms, but so much more than that. I love that just as a one-liner, though, for the Gilda stories. If you're wondering like what that was in reference to. Jalissa, it's funny you mentioned the police. I thought he was what you said too. That's what made it so shocking to me when I read that first story and Out There Screaming. Yeah, I read that because it was during the hardcover book sale at Barnes last year, and I almost picked that one up. And then I had too many, so I had to kind of read a couple, see where it was going. That was the first story, and I was just like, that kind of turned me off. But I'll maybe pick it up. I've heard some people are like, that's not a good representation of the book. Sappho's Vampire had a quick little snack. Has anyone tried the Tahini Mango Ring? So good. Oh, that sounds amazing. I'm definitely have learned you need to eat before one of these things. The watermelon ones are good as well. Have you had like the tahini chamoy like candy salad where they like put a bunch of the sour candies in a bag and just like, it's really good. That actually sounds amazing. Have a good one, Emily, with dinner. That you can join us again when we're back on Sappho's Vampire. Dare I say, this is better than Anne Rice's interview with a vampire. Ooh, I love that though. It's very wordy. So have some time, but I love that it's brought you in so quickly. Let's see here. Just got home. How are you doing? What are you reading? I'm reading right now Happy Little Haunts, and then we gotta get back to it. The Black Girl Survives in this one. It's starting to come together. I think this will be a slow burn though, since it's just over 500 pages. Gosh, 500 pages is a lot for me. Okay, let's get back to it, guys. Okay. So let me know how everything's going for y'all so far. We're about to go into one of our last sprints before we do a longer break. I really enjoyed this last one that I read. It was different. It was kind of giving Coraline vibes. It was called Ghostlight, and it was by Aaron E. Adams, which it's dope that I got to kind of read that a little bit beforehand because I plan on reading Jackal during the readathon. That's supposed to be one of the last books that I read for the readathon, so it's kind of nice to already get a sense of what her writing style is. I feel like if it was visual, it could be that much scarier. I think that's the thing with ghosts with me. I don't think that like I get really freaked out reading about ghosts for some reason. And I say that when like I've read House of Leaves, and that's absolutely freaked me out before. Like it really has to like engulf me in the story. I do feel like this one was very much, it felt like Coraline. I don't know why. I feel like it felt very much in that same way when Coraline realizes that her other mother is like evil. That's how I felt about the ghost in this story. I also thought it was interesting that it was kind of about the stage and like all of these different things that happen like on the stage and in the theater and all of these different like spells and stuff like that that's in the theater and like traditions and stuff in order to keep like why the ghost light call a ghost light and everything. So that was interesting to read about. Yeah, so far so good. How are you guys all doing? Oh, Sappho Vampire shared a great quote from the Gilda stories. I thought taking a stand fighting a war would bring solution to the demons that haunted us. Each time I thought slavery or fanaticism could be banished. Each time I've been wrong, I've run out of that youthful caring, and I know we must believe in possibilities in order to go on. I no longer believe. Okay, so basically, like if you plan on reading the Gilda stories, know that it's a deep novel. But God, that's a great quote. Emily, I don't want to post any spoilers, but I need to go cry for a while after finishing chapter 5 and chapter 6 of Ring Shout. It is not an easy book to read, Emily. I really just think that like they really, I think, captured this idea of hatred as a monster that can be breeded. But go self-care. Go self-care for a moment. I got to 37% of my book. I may have to turn it off and pick something else up. I'm starting to tune out. That's unfortunate. I feel that though. I was also supposed to read more than just this. I was supposed to try and finish Zone 1 by Colson Whitehead. That's not happening today. I'll try maybe tomorrow while I'm riding around to listen to the audiobook. I'm just too much into this, and that's not carrying my attention, to be honest. So I feel you. Let's see here. I'm about to start chapter 6 in the next sprint. Okay. I have the intro to the Dark Fantastic during that last sprint. How's that going? The Dark Fantastic, that's a new one. I haven't heard of that one either. I keep on telling you guys every single break, but I have so many books to add to my TBR based off the sprint. I'm so invested in the Reformatory already. The writing is wonderful and easy to get into. I think I'm gonna have to just read the Reformatory. I really wanted to read a good portion of Tananarive Dew's backlist, but I've too many people have said it's just too amazing. Shayna in Colorland, showered and finished cleaning, need to grab some dinner next sprint. Eventually I'll pick up a book. I feel we're here to body double. Don't worry about it at all. I read that earlier this month. I loved it so much in response to the Reformatory. My book is very wordy and I'm just starting chapter 2, but it's picking up and so much is important to it, but it's one I'll take my time with if need be. Yeah, that one sounds definitely like you need to take your time with it. Okay, guys, let's go back into our next sprint. Okay. All right. In April, when this officially releases, or if you are able to get your hands, woo, oh bless, when you are finally able to get your hands on this book, it has been good. I think even better than good in some cases. But the Bride of Devil's Bayou by Desiree S. Evans, who is one of the editors of this book. That was such an, like, just, I felt absolutely engulfed in the story. You could feel the story. You were interested. The friendship, ancestral, the whole dichotomy between ancestral curses, especially like historical ancestral curses for this Black woman and the Black woman who came before her. So good. So good. Oh my God, that was so good. I loved it. I'm about a third of the way into the book now, and I think I'm going to stop here for this book. I'm going to go into The Dead Ate Cheese by Eric Williford, because that is a physical read, and I do want to carve out some time to read that. And I think that whatever I read next, the next one is TMI by Zakiya Delilah Harris, which, as y'all know, I just read The Other Black Girl by her, and I was a little bit let down. And I don't, not to say that author like may not write something that's amazing, but that was such a great story that I just read that I want to end it on. I want to end me reading it currently on that one. I think what I might end up doing is just like maybe reading one or two of these stories right before I go to bed or something like that. I don't know, and it will probably end up being reviewed like on the last day of the readathon or something. So good. Just so good. Oh my gosh. I loved that. What are you guys reading? That was such a good way to end it. Oh my gosh. Okay, that was so good. We're currently experiencing our longer break, and after this break, we're going to do one more 30-minute sprint, and then we're going to wrap it up. I've loved doing this today. Watch me do one of these monthly now that, like, I kind of got it down, I guess. I don't know. But, like, how was your guys' last sprint? Let's look at it. Let's see here. Where did I last end? Ring Shout is one of my all-time favorite novellas. I hope you love it as well. Scotty Sheree reads. Sheree or Cherie? I know people pronounce it both ways. Ring Shout is definitely one of my favorite novellas. I've heard some people say it's too cosmic for them. Personally, I like cosmic horror. So I just felt like it needed to be longer. I would have loved to just experience just it longer. Let's see here. What else? I'm just like, that was such a great read. Annotating The Great Gatsby, but also reading The Beauty of Living Twice by Sharon Stone for fun. Okay. Let's see. I've never heard of The Beauty of Living Twice. I really like The Reformatory as well, but it took me forever to get through because parts of it were just really hard to read. I expected that also, just hearing that. The title is The Reformatory, so I knew that one's going to be a hard read. The only bad thing about sprints is that the TBR continues to expand with all these books mentioned, right, Jess? Oh my gosh. I'm like, I have so many to look up after this. I gotta like search through this chat and like add to my Goodreads shelves, which if you're not following me on Goodreads, follow me over there. I create shelves and I've started creating shelves, which has been really great for me in like figuring out like, okay, what am I going to read next? And just, figuring all of that out. What else? Yes. I had to put it down for a bit. It was holding my breath too much while reading. The Dark Fantastic is a nonfiction book about Black representation in popular speculative fiction. Oh, I'm reading that. I'm definitely reading The Dark Fantastic. Thank you for that. because I really want to read some more nonfiction this year, but like in areas I'm interested in. Sappho Vampire, this isn't a light, fun, vampy read, so I don't know if it will be for everyone, but this is my kind of jam. I feel it regarding the Gilda stories. I'm still in chapter 1. It's already difficult topics to read about. You get so invested in the characters immediately. I'm glad you hear that, because that was one thing that I had an issue with my Soul to Keep. Happy Han Flurry, that sounds really fascinating. Add it to the TBR. Yeah, definitely. Emily Miller, whoops, I definitely got distracted by my book and burnt dinner. Oh no, what a good book and what good company. Thanks for organizing and letting me read it along with you. Oh my gosh. Well, I hope, Emily, you got your dinner together, but I'm glad to hear that your book was great. Sappho Vampire, my cat has the zoomies and it is so distracting. Adding that nonfic to my wish list. I completely agree, Cozy Jess, ever growing. That's awesome that your first arc has been working out so well for you. Yeah, no, I'm so excited. I'm so happy. Happy Hunt's Library. Read into chapter 1. It's taking time to read, but it has a lot of theory, and it's made for an academic audience rather than a lay person, but I'm already learning tons. Yeah, no, I think that books like that really, like nonfiction books about very like entertaining topics, I guess, are really interesting when you go to read books that are fiction. I feel like it informs one another and everything. I've been learning. That's why I really want to get back into reading some nonfiction about interesting topics. Shayna in Colorland, so glad you're enjoying the book. Yes to more sprints. Jess, monthly sprints. Yes, if you feel up to it, of course. I really feel up to it because I've mentioned before on the channel that I don't get a lot of physical reading in anymore, just because I'm running around doing 5 million things. And it was really great today to just like knock out like 3 hours of just like purely reading a book. I think I've really forgotten how immersed you can get in a book by just like eye to paper, nothing else. So I think monthly sprints, y'all. Like some Sundays, maybe. I think Sundays may be a good one. I also got some editing done during the last sprint. Yeah, Jess, I know it's really rough. I know you've been having fun with that fantasy video, though. So y'all look out for Cozy Jess's fantasy video coming up this week. She's great topics, great book recommendations. Emma B, love the energy you have in these sprints. Please do more. Will do. Thank you so much. Sappho's Vampire, yes, it's such a cozy way to spend the day away. So would love more sprints from you. Y'all are so sweet. Thank you. You all have been so great. Okay, we are getting into another 30 seconds, and we're getting into our last sprint of the live. I'll be reading The Dead Ate Cheese, just a quick synopsis. This is about, this is a sapphic horror about two lovers who basically are experiencing the end of the world together. One of them is a chef, and it's definitely hilarious. As their love is tested by an onslaught of mozzarella-ridden chaos, they join forces with an eccentric group of survivors in a desperate attempt to stay alive. With Gabby's dream of becoming a renowned chef in New York City at stake, the couple must fight to keep their love alive in a battle against the cheese-filled horror of the zombie apocalypse. So something funny, something really funny. So let's see if I like this one, guys. Okay. I'm halfway through. Thoughts. I think it would work better as a horror comedy movie. It definitely is your usual run-of-the-mill zombie type of thing that is satirical, makes fun of political situations, stuff like that. I think the one thing that kind of rubs me a little bit the wrong way. This is a book by a cis hetero-seeming, at least, male, whose main characters are two interracial lesbians, and it's giving male gaze. Like, I got maybe a page or so into the book, and already talking about these two having sex. So that's disappointing. I don't think that it's not possible for people who are hetero to write about queer characters. And I get it. I get that this is supposed to be a satirical novel. But yeah, that just wasn't the best, unfortunately. And kind of just felt a little strange. I think the other parts of it are kind of like hilarious. President's, of course, an idiot, as per usual in one of these. And they're basically all of humanity has become zombies from cheese. I think that's funny. Yeah. So I don't know. That kind of was that. I'll finish it. I mean, it's really short. I basically another half an hour and I'll have this finished. But I don't know. It is an indie author, so I would say maybe that's just something that I would probably, regardless of it being a comedy, it should still, I don't know. It feels like, I feel like in a comedy, caricatures of the characters are fine, but like, it feels very like a man wrote it. Like, I don't feel like a queer woman who is writing a comedy would sit there and like start off the book about two like lesbians who are your main characters as now let's take their clothes off, you know? And it kind of comes off a little bit like bait. I don't know. The book itself is fine. I just did not like that beginning. I had so much fun. I had a ton of fun. I basically just found a new author I want to go find and devour all that Desiree S. Evans has ever written, because based off of that short story, I would probably love it. I love the writing cadence and it was amazing. Look out for a review on the full book come like the end of the month, but also look out for The Black Girl Survives in this one in April. I think April 2nd is when it comes out. So far, it was so good. It was real. I mean, all the stories had been great so far. That last one was just really, really great. Let me do one more check in the chat before we head out. I myself had to also cook dinner and meal prep. So shout out to anybody who was body doubling with me the entire time with this. Let's see. Let's do more sprints. I really, honestly, thank y'all so much for all the support on like this, my first sprint, and also for like future sprints and everything. I'm really excited to possibly just be doing this maybe monthly or whenever it makes sense. Next month, I'm going to be, it's Women's History Month, and I have already a TBR. Basically that are nothing but women authors, stories about women, and most importantly, unhinged stories regarding women. And that's the theme for next month. So looking forward to maybe doing a sprint, knocking some of those out, especially some that don't have audiobooks. I find myself being kind of in a situation if somebody doesn't have an audiobook, because I just simply can't read all of it. So yeah, I'm really excited, y'all. Thank y'all again for all the support. This has been such a fun way to spend the afternoon. I've enjoyed reading with y'all so much. Thank you, Jess. So I fear my oh no. Okay, go nurse your migraine, Sappho vampire. But go nurse your migraine. Yeah. But I'm so happy that like it seems like you got such a great start to the Guild of Stories. My fellow Kelsey, I'm glad you had a great time. Thanks again for all of the support, Scotty, Sheree. I really need to learn if it's Sheree or Cherie. I'm gonna say Cherie, but you correct me if it's not for the future when you're in one of these. Um, Thank you. I'd be so happy if you could join again. Got to the end of chapter 1, really intrigued by her thesis. Oh, it's so good to hear that nonfiction sounds good. I'm gonna have to look it up, the dark fantasy. I think that's what it was, the dark fantasies. The arc was probably just too good. Sounds like a better read instead of the horror. Don't like how that author sounds though. Gives me the ick. Yeah, it was just it was a little icky. I don't know. Again, it's not that I don't think that like straight people can write queer stories. It's like read and learn and everything. Like the whole point is to convey stories that shows like good storytelling. And the book, the rest of the story so far has been all right. It just feels very like weird. I don't know. I'm upset that was how it was, but we'll see how the rest of it. It's short. I'm basically halfway through, so at this point, it's just like knock out another half hour. Thank you so much again. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you for holding this sprint. It was a lot of fun. Got a lot of pages done. Cherie. Okay. Thank you, Cherie. Okay. Scotty Cherie reads. I now know that for the next time we have a sprint. But thanks again, everyone. I'm gonna end the reading sprint here and the stream here. I had so much fun with y'all. Look forward to next month. I really think that I'm gonna do this next month. So y'all support was really great. So thanks again, and check out this week's video. It will be a discussion on Black horror, and not only just its importance, but even some of its downfalls. It'd be really great for you guys to check that out, and also like tell me in the comments what you all are going to be thinking about it. All right, well, look out for that. I promise I will be filming correctly then. So I'll see y'all then. Bye.